Hola! Hey sweets, it's your favorite Puerto Rican Quenton, and welcome to my channel. Hey sweets, if you're new here, welcome to the team. If you're one of my subscribers, welcome to the new video. You already know it's a Storytime Saturday, so you know what that means. Go ahead and get your cups, get your little smokes on, do whatever you do that you do. Ain't nobody judging over here, period. Alright y'all, so I don't know what I'm going to name the video just yet, but it's a story time of the time that I went to go see this LA dude. And it's just a disaster. And it's full of tea, full of drama, you know, everything that you guys love. Holaaa! Holaaa, holaaa! Before we get on down to this video, make sure that you subscribe. Go ahead and click that motherfucking notification bell so you'll be notified every time that I post a new video. And while you're at it, you might as well just like the video. Sweets, I'm already like a little lit, so I don't really know how this story time is gonna go. So we just gonna see what it's giving, if it gives what it's supposed to have gave. Alright y'all, so this story takes place a few years ago, like when I used to live in Florida. And I was at this job that I was working at, I used to get flight benefits for free. So I used to travel the world here and there, you know, a little bit everywhere, period. And one of the places where I used to go a lot was LA. So I went to go visit LA. It was maybe like my second or third time going, and I was single at the time, so I had Tinder, y'all. And I ended up matching with this one guy. We gonna call him Tyler. And so I matched with Tyler, and of course y'all already know how it is. On your last day, people want to like match with you and talk to you, and you get the vibes going. So that's what happened. And we was like talking, and he was like, oh, are you visiting, or like, are you from here, like what's going on? And I was like, no, I'm visiting, like I'm from Florida, like whatever. And he was like, cool, well, you need to come back around, and you know, maybe like one day we can hang out with each other. And I was like, okay, bet. And y'all, it's like he was cute. He was a little cutie on his Tinder profile and stuff. And he was saying the right things on his profile. So I was like, let me entertain it. Like I ain't got nothing else to do. Like I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I entertained it. So the next day I ended up going back home to Florida. Well, I was in Tampa, y'all. So I was in Tampa, and I don't remember how long we was talking for, but I know it was almost a month, or it was a month. He had hit me up one day, and he was like, oh, what you doing? And it's always a what you doing, never a, oh, let me fly you out. So if you ain't on that energy, then what are you doing, sir? Period. And so then I was just like, I had time that day. I was like, let me just play with him a little bit. So I was like, oh, nothing, just laying down, like, you know, chilling. And knowing damn well I was at work. He's like, oh, I wish you was laying here with me. And I was like, bet, say less. And I was like, well, when do you want me to come visit you? I'll do that. And he was like, well, come whenever you want to come. And I was like, period. So later on, we was talking about like, you know, the right day and time and all of that stuff because he was working. Fast forwarding to when I'm going to go visit. So it was that day, and I thought he was ghosting me because y'all, I had texted him, and I don't know, maybe he was ghosting me, or maybe the flight was too early, he was asleep or something. I don't really know what it was, but I'm an impatient person. I'm like, if I'm messaging you, you need to message back that fast, period. Y'all see how about that fast? And I'm not playing. So I had messaged him, and he wasn't hitting me back. And so then when I had got on the plane, I had messaged him again, and I was like, hey, I'm on the plane.
Hey yo, I was on the plane with the wine. You can call me Whitley, I go to hell, man. Listen.
He ended up messaging me back, and he was like, yeah, I'm already on the way, like whatever. So I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, he was there on time to pick me up, so I was like, okay, he not ghosting me. Like, okay, it's cool. Like, I ain't mad at him no more. I had got my bags and everything, and I went to go see him. He picked me up, and it was a good time. Like, the vibes was right. He looked like his pictures. He wasn't catfishing me or nothing like that. So everything was good and Gucci. And he was asking me if I was hungry, and we ended up going to, I think it was like IHOP or something like that. I don't know what it was, but it's just like a turn off of me when like somebody that I'm with is rude to like the waiter or waitress. It was a turn off for me. He was being rude to them, and I really didn't like that. So I told him about that when we had got back to his place. And speaking of, when we had got there, it was dirty. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Tyler. It was dirty. And I was just like, what is it? And it was hella small. So I was like, what is this? At least you could have it clean. Like, you know I was coming. That's the least you could have did. So that happened, and that was another irritating thing for me. You know, the day had went on. We was like talking and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well, he had laid in the bed, and I was like, well, I'm about to go shower. Like, you know, I've been out all day. So I had gotten in the shower. Then when I had came back to lay down with him, he like had his arm over me or whatever, like when we were laying down, but he had his phone in his other hand. And so I was just like, all right, cool, like whatever. But then when I looked over, I had seen that he was on motherfucking Tinder, y'all. This man was on Tinder in front of my face. But I didn't say anything. But I was like, back then, years and years ago, I was a spiteful ass bitch. I get my revenge. So let me tell y'all what happened next, all right? The next day, he's talking about he had to go to work or whatever, but this whole time you was talking about you off because you know I'm coming in town and stuff. So I really didn't like that, and I knew he was lying. So I was like, okay, cool, like when you gonna be back? And he was like, oh, I don't know, like I'll text you, like I'll call you, whatever. And I was like, okay. So the whole time I'm like in his house, like I'm irritated. I'm like, damn, like he's like gone, and I already know he's going out on some date with this guy that he had seen on Tinder yesterday and shit like that. And so I was texting my bestie. I was telling her, I was like, girl, like this happened, so what should I do? And I was like, it's Saturday, like, I was like, I don't know if he's trying to go out with me, but I want to go out, but I don't want to go out by myself because it's just only me here. And she was like, she had texted me back, and she's talking about, she was like, dude, he got liquor in his fridge. And I was like, yeah, he got like a bottle of Ciroc or something like that. She was like, he got a mixer. And I was like, yeah. She was like, make your ass a drink and go the fuck out because it's LA. Like, what are you doing? Like, there's plenty of people like you can see, and you need to go out. And I was like, y'all, she did that because that was motivation enough for me to get the fuck up and do what I needed to do. Because if he's out doing what he's doing, I'm definitely about to do what I do, okay? And that's on period. That's on facts. So y'all, I got my happy ass back on Tinder just like he did, and I ended up meeting this other guy. We gonna call him Chris. So I ended up meeting Chris because we matched and stuff, and he was like this actor or whatever. But he was telling me all the things that I wanted to hear, and I was like, oh, well, like, are you free today? Because I'm in town for maybe like another day or two. And so he was like, yeah. And he was like, are you doing anything tonight? And I was like, now that you mention it, no, I don't really think I'm doing anything. He was just like, okay, well, like, maybe we should like link up. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And so then I ended up telling my friend, I was like, yeah, I got a date to go out with this guy. And she was like, yeah, bitch, you better have, because you're not about to be waiting at some man's house and he out on another date with somebody else and you there when you went to go see him. Like, what kind of sense that make? And I was like, yeah, girl. And Chris ended up coming to pick me up, and we was having a good old time, and he was showing me everything that I wanted to see, and it was just like a good time, and that I love. And so then I went back to his place. He had like a huge house. It was, oh girl, it was so nice. So he ended up having this huge house, and he was like, what else do you want to do tonight? And I was like, well, I mean, a lot of people talking about going to like WeHo, so I mean, we can go there if you wanted to go. I just want to like go out into the club, to the bar or something, get a drink. And he was like, okay. So he was down to go, and he was like, you said you was here visiting one of your friends, like, do they want to go? And I was like, no, I don't think they want to go. Y'all, I was like, no, I don't think they want to go. So it was just me and him. And so then we went to the bar. It was such a nice time. So that was my first time riding the little bull. And I was like,
and I'ma ride you like a rodeo. I'ma ride you like a rodeo.
so in the midst of that happening, like us going out and all of that, having a good time, Tyler had messaged me and he was talking about, oh, I'm back at the house. And mind you, it was probably like 11 p.m. or something like that. He's talking about, hey, I'm at the house and you're not here, like where you at? And I'm like, bitch, you're not my dad. Y'all, after I had all them drinks and stuff, I was like, yeah, I know you was on Tinder and I know you went to go meet some dude, and don't be acting like I'm stupid because I know what the fuck be going on. So he was like, yeah, well I did, and we're not exclusive, so I can do whatever I want. And I was like, yeah, exactly, just like what I'm doing. So period, how about that? And then he getting all mad because I'm out with somebody when you were out with somebody. Like, how that work? That's like definitely a double standard because that don't make no kind of sense. And so then he was like, well, you need to come get your stuff. And I was like, well, can you drop it off to me? Like, I'm all the way in WeHo. Like, can you drop it off to me? And he was like, okay, well, if I drop it off to you, then this is it. We're done. Like, blah, blah, blah. Don't ever talk to me again. I was like, okay, period. Like, that's fine with me. I was going to talk to you after this anyway. So, long story short, after we got back to Chris's house, then that's when all that was happening. And he knew I was like on my phone, and he was like looking at me, and like I was getting mad and irritated. He was like, are you okay? Like, is there anything I could do? And I was like, no, my friend is just out with somebody and now they mad because I'm out with you having a good time. They expecting me to be just like sitting at their house doing nothing. And he was like, yeah, why would you be doing that when you in LA, like you having a good time by yourself and stuff? And I was like, exactly. And I was like, well, they're gonna bring me my stuff, so is it cool if I stay here with you? He was like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Like, everything is good. Like, I wanted you to stay here. And I was like, okay, good. So he's bringing my stuff and he should be here shortly, blah, blah, blah. So fast forward into when he's bringing my stuff. So he texts me talking about, I'm outside. You better come get your stuff before I throw it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this man is really mad because I'm in this big ass shit and he was in that small ass house. Okay, not my problem. So then I went to go get my stuff, and then him and the guy, whoever that he met, had came out the car, like opened the car doors and like just stepped outside. And I was like, what's up? I was like, what's up? What's going on? Like, what you want to do? And Chris was just like, oh, is everything good? And I was like, yeah, everything's fine. All right, sweet. So fast forwarding to when I was ending the trip, Chris ended up taking me to the airport and everything was all good. Like, I knew I was gonna keep in contact with him, but the other guy, I was like, no, like everything's dead and done. It's the block and delete for me. So that was that on that. And tell me why a day or two later, after I got back home to Tampa, Tyler ended up messaging me and he was just like, hey, like, well, he's seen something on my Snapchat and he replied to that. And so I was like, I didn't have him because I had deleted him. So then I was just like, who is this? Like, who are you? And he was like, it's Tyler, like, blah, 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 whatever. And I was like, I said, no, we not doing that. So I was like, don't hit me up ever again. Please don't make any pages to try to hit me up because we're done. Like, I'm not talking to you, like, you're not talking to me. If you wanted to be a hoe, you could have just said that. So that was that on that, and period. So I did keep in contact with Chris though, and we was talking for maybe like, I want to say maybe like 3 or 4 months after that because he was all cool and stuff. So I really like that, and I went to go visit him again, and we had good vibes, but it just didn't work out because I didn't really want like a long distance thing. So that was that. And yeah, so that's the time when I went to go to LA to go see this dude. And if you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, make sure that you guys like and subscribe to my channel. That'll mean a lot to me. And until next time, bye.